say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Hello, American patriots, and welcome to another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. We have a packed show tonight. I'm going to try and get through everything for the next 30 minutes so we can take some of your phone calls at the bottom of the hour. I want to start with basically the most alarming thing I've ever heard come out of a White House before. The most alarming thing in my 58 years on this planet, to be told, as an American. But before I do that, let me turn off my Fox News alert first. How about that? Before I do that, let me read you an article when these two are combined. Dr. Fauci, the lead doctor on the coronavirus COVID-19 that's in each one of the press conferences with Trump. So just a couple of days ago, he wrote an article for the New England Journal of Medicine. It's entitled Coronavirus Less Severe Than the Flu. This is the guy, the little bitty dude that stands next to Trump at the podium every day, and he's the lead guy on this. All right, so what did he say in this article? He was saying that the mortality rate of 1.4% among 1,099 patients with laboratory-confirmed COVID-19. These patients had a wide spectrum of disease severity. If one assumes that the number minimalizes the symptomatic cases and several times as high as the number of reported cases, the case fatality rate may be considerably less than 1%. This suggests that the overall clinical consequences of COVID-19 may ultimately be more akin to those of a severe seasonal influenza, which is the flu, with a case fatality rate of approximately 0.1%. Or he compared it to pandemic flus of 1957 and 1968, rather than a disease similar to SARS or MERS, which had a case fatality rate of 9 to 10% and 36% respectively. So just 2 days ago, he writes an article for the New England Journal of Medicine telling everyone that this whole thing, COVID-19, the entire coronavirus, is less dangerous to us than the average flu that we get every year. Now, that being said, did you catch today's press conference for this flu virus? I did, and it was pretty damn alarming. Because with the same doctor there, they announced that they had a bunch of models they put together, to computer models, to project what we're up against and project what the numbers could be in fatalities. Kind of like the computers that determine, I guess, where a hurricane's going to hit. And they have about 30 different models. And if you ever watch those things and look at them, you know, each one shows you where the hurricane's at, where America is, and a whole bunch of spaghetti strings going all over the place to determine where it might hit. Each model shows you something different. And the closer and closer and closer the hurricane gets to making a landfall, they finally stick to one model and go, this is it. It's going to hit New Orleans, okay? Well, their models projected that over the next couple of weeks, between 100,000 and 240,000 Americans are about to die. Now, I don't know about you, but that's pretty damn shocking. Especially when the guy in charge that told us about all this just wrote an article in the journal saying, this is no better, it's no different than the flu. The flu is actually worse than this. So what is it? This is why I'm so frustrated. I know a whole lot of you are too, because we can't get straight answers. Depending on who you listen to, they bring on specialists on CNN that say one thing, and MSNBC that say something else, and Fox News that says something different. And then the own Trump's led by Pence Corona Task Force with Dr. Fauci are all over the place. So if we are about to lose 100 to 240,000 people in the next 2 weeks, we're in deep shit. All right? That's pretty damn drastic, because we're still going to lose hundreds of thousands of people to everything else that happens in America, right? The regular flu, murder, car crashes, cancer, you name it. All the other things that kill us. Suicides, the whole 9 yards. And what's also happening right now that's, I think, a pandemic too here in America. Have you checked out any of the local news in all the major metropolitan cities across America? They're shooting each other up like the OK Corral. All right. Where there was typically 4 or 5 murders a night in New Orleans, or 4 or 5, 6 in Chicago, it's tripled. All right. All right. Enough of that. So let's talk about what the states are reporting tonight. All right. Right before I came on air. So we can have a look at what the current situation looks like now and compare it to 100,000 to 240,000 dead. New York, they're at the highest, 75,795 cases. New Jersey, 16,636. California, 7,442. Michigan, 6,498. Massachusetts, 5,752. Florida, 5,705. Washington, 5,212. Illinois, 5,058. Pennsylvania, 4,194. And Louisiana, 4,025. Okay? That's confirmed, supposedly, cases. Tests have already come back. Now, what have they told us all along? That chances are the only people dying of this are going to be the elderly, people with weak immune systems, people that have underlying medical conditions already, And then you add this onto it, and it's so strong that those people aren't going to have a chance. The average healthy adult would fight this off just like the regular flu. So, those states with the outbreaks, let's look at the deaths. New York, 1,550. Washington State, 220. New Jersey, 198. Louisiana, 185. Michigan, 185. California, 149. Georgia, 102. Florida, 77. Illinois, 74. Massachusetts, 56. Pennsylvania, 51. Colorado, 51. Texas, 48. Okay. I'm not going to keep counting, but let me tell you this. You can find this article on Fox News, and I've got it up here on the screen here, but it goes down. The numbers just keep dropping and dropping and dropping until it gets all the way down to Arkansas with only 7 deaths. Okay? And all of a sudden, in the next 2 weeks, I'm sorry, where it goes all the way to West Virginia to 1 death. One person died. So somehow, out of all those cases, plus what we're going to add to it, we're about to lose anywhere from 100,000 to 240,000 Americans. I would have believed that number after reading his article. If the president would have came out today in his administration and said, we know where this actually started. Yes, it started in China, but it was a weapon that was deployed by UFOs that visited from another freaking planet in another solar system. And oh, here's the video footage of them coming in their flying saucer and infecting everyone. I would believe that more so than when I've got the chief person in charge of this whole damn thing up and standing next to our president, just pins an article in a journal saying it's like the flu. And then 2 days later, we're all going to die. Would somebody make up their mind for us, please? Anyone up in Washington, D.C., not see that this is ridiculous? If we need to panic, that's great. Let us know we need to panic. But you need to be telling us we need to panic from day damn one. And every day, tell us we need to panic. But don't say one day, oh, it's going to be fine. And the next day, oh, geez, we're all going to die. And that, my friends, is what our reality is at the moment. Can't go anywhere. Stuck in your house. Can't go to the restaurant. Can't go to the movies. Can't take a vacation. Can't fly on an airplane. You're just stuck for the most part. Then, let's add to the chaos. Coronavirus mandates. These states are threatening fines, jail time, and restrictions for people who ignore the self-isolation orders. All right. Now, before I read this, let me tell you this. We have heard every day now for the past, especially the past 2 weeks, pretty strong words or actual actions that are taking place in California, in New York, in New Orleans, all across the country. They're letting prisoners out of prisons and out of jails where they already have known COVID-19 cases in the jail so that it doesn't become a pandemic inside the jail and they all get affected. That's right. They're letting prisoners out. Supposedly, it was just going to be those that are, not violent criminals. But I'm getting all kinds of conflicting stories on what they consider that, depending on which state you're talking about. But if we're letting them out so we don't grow this in the jail setting, well, damn, let's see. Alaska, if you violate the stay-at-home order, 1 year in jail or $25,000 fine. Chicago. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot threatened last week to take Chicago residents into custody if they violate city rules. Lightfoot also warned residents against going on long runs or bike rides in the city's latest effort to crack down on the spread of COVID-19. Colorado, if you violate it, it could be up to 1 year in jail or $1,000 fine. In Florida, it could be up to 60 days in jail and a $500 fine. Hawaii, it could be up to 1 year in jail, a $5,000 fine. Maryland, 1 year in jail or a $5,000 fine. Massachusetts, $500 fine. Montana, people visiting from out of state must self-quarantine for at least 14 days. New Hampshire must quarantine for 14 days. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio on Tuesday said that he had authorized the New York Police Department to issue fines of $250 and $500 for New Yorkers who don't get it and are ignoring social distance guidelines. So if you don't get it, you're going to have to pay some money to the city. Rhode Island, possible jail fines. They're still working on that, or jail times and fines. Same thing with South Carolina. Texas, same thing, but they want you to quarantine for 14 days. Virginia is the same thing. Washington, residents are subject to a gross misdemeanor and a fine of $5,000 or up to 364 days in jail. That's Washington State. Washington, D.C., residents are subject to up to 90 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. Okay, that's great. That's all fine and dandy. But wait a minute, you just told us that you're letting people out of jail so we don't spread this. So you're going to tell me now that if somebody violates the order, which means, according to you, the government, then they could be infected or infecting somebody else. So now we're going to put them in jail? You couldn't make this up if you tried. This is our damn government for you. This is the same people, by the way, who told us back during the Cold War that in the event of a nuclear attack, hide under your desk, school children. And back then they were made out of wood. So basically, you're hiding under Kindle so that you will burn to a crisp faster than everyone else. Well, there is definitely one case right now that I know of, and there could be others, you may know of others, that I didn't catch, where that just happened. Louisiana pastor who defied coronavirus order arrested on misdemeanor charges. He was, his name is Reverend Rodney Howard Brown. And basically, he was holding church services every day here in Louisiana, down in the Baton Rouge area. Excuse me. Roughly 500 people were showing up, and they're all praying away the coronavirus. All right. They're holding church services every night to pray this thing away. Okay. Prayer's fine. Church is fine. And they said, wait a minute, you can't do that. He said, wait, well, you're allowing essential businesses to be open, which is Walmart and grocery stores, prayer's not essential? And he said, well, pray at home. You don't have to go to a church to do it. Well, shit, I can have Walmart deliver to me too. All right. Or I can, the thing where you call ahead and you pull up and they bring it out. You don't have to go into Walmart. Hell, I just saw that today we had a Best Buy open. I guess, if you're quarantining your house and your TV goes out, you need to go get another one. By the way, that parking lot of Best Buy was packed. Must have been a lot of people in there needing their electronic devices because they ain't got nothing better to do. And I get that. If my shit goes out, I'm going to be at Best Buy as well. But they went ahead and arrested the guy to stop him from gathering his church people up. And maybe that's a good thing when you're doing this kind of people showing up in a small area, especially here in Louisiana where this shit's exploding. Maybe this stopped that. Maybe it needed to be stopped. Maybe it didn't need to be stopped. I don't know. But what I do know is that we've got the government doing one thing over here, let these people out, and over here, bring these people in. I know that they say jail and prison's a revolving door. I get that. But that's kind of stupid. Remember the sheriff in LA County that had this back and forth with the mayor about whether or not gun stores were essential business? And the Democrats that run LA and California said that gun stores are not essential. Shut them down. Don't sell guns. Don't sell ammo. Well, that went back and forth, and it went over really sour with a lot of people. Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors removed Sheriff Alex, I can't even pronounce his damn last name, Villanueva, as the head of the county's Emergency Operations Center on Tuesday, a day after he reversed an order to close gun shops aimed at the coronavirus pandemic. So what happened was the county said gun shops will close. They're not essential. And he said, screw you, I'm not enforcing that. That's unconstitutional. Everybody has the Second Amendment, the ability to go buy ammo and guns. You can't stop that. And then they threatened to fire him. Guess what? We're going to remove you. You're not going to be able to do this. They got judges involved. They got lawyers involved. Then he changed his mind and went, okay, this is bullshit. Okay, I'm not going to lose my job over it. I'm not going to, get sued over this. Okay, we close them all down. And then somehow he reversed that again and went, you know what? LA, go screw yourself. I'm not going to enforce it. Well, now they removed him. The supervisor said an anonymous vote was in response to, I'm sorry, that's something totally different I'm reading to you. But basically, he is no longer in charge of the emergency response operations for coronavirus for LA County because he refuses to go along with the plan that they have in place. That shit's crazy. If that wasn't enough, who else doesn't want to go along with the plan? How about AOC? She was a bartender yesterday, and then today, oh, shit, she's a member of Congress making rules and laws and shit. AOC hits Como on coronavirus response that gives preferential treatment to the wealthy. So, somehow, in her little freaking pea brain, she thinks that the governor has allowed the system for responding to COVID-19 in New York to take care of the wealthy first and the peasants last. If you're wealthy, you get a ventilator. If you're poor, you die. Now, first, where's your evidence to this? Or where's your evidence to anything? We know what she did on the border, went down and toured the detention facilities where they were holding these illegals till they could find out who the hell they were and whose kid belonged to who and all that stuff. And then came back and lied her ass off and said she was threatened and the guards were catcalling her and she, and they had scary guns and she feared for her life around the border agents and the inmates were forced to drink out of toilets. That same woman now believes that if you're wealthy in New York, you live, and if you're poor, you're going to die. If that wasn't bad enough, leave it to Susan Rice. Former National Security Advisor Susan Rice. Remember her? African American under the Obama administration. Suggested Monday that President Trump's recent confrontation with a black female reporter displayed his dislike for strong women in general and black women in particular. So she's going to throw the race card into the COVID-19 crisis we have right now. I watched that conference yesterday, that briefing, and well, hell, just about every woman there, I'll be honest with you, I made a comment to my wife about that and went, there's no white women in the press pool anymore? Why are all these, it just seemed odd. All of a sudden, every female reporter that stood up to question the president were black. It was almost like it was set up that way, which now I'm starting to think it was, because Susan Rice comes out and calls the president a racist because he basically put some of them in their place for asking stupid ass shit and lying about things and taking some of his things he said out of context. And you know how this guy is. Trump doesn't give a shit if you're white, black, gay, straight, Republican, his best friend or his enemy. He's treating you all the same. If you're nasty to him, he's going to quadruple that shit back to you. That's how the guy operates. I don't think he sees color. I really don't. But Susan Rice, leave it to somebody from the Obama administration to throw out the race card. She should be in prison along with Hillary Clinton and many other members of that former regime. On a positive note, now that we're talking about reporters, to all you Democrats and liberals out there and CNN and MSNBC worshipers that love all your fake news, you're going to love this. The first quarter of 2020 was jam-packed with news, from the impeachment trial of President Trump to the growing coronavirus pandemic. And more Americans relied on Fox News for the latest news and information than ever before. Fox News finished the quarter with the largest audience in network history among both total day and primetime viewers. Fox News was the most watched network among all basic cables for the 15th straight quarter, averaging 1.9 million total day viewers. That blew CNN and MSNBC, put them on the level of Doug Ducote of 130-something thousand subscribers to his YouTube channel. All right. That's what they look like up against these Fox News numbers. A bunch of freaking amateurs that have no ratings, and Nick at Night, you know, Barney the Purple Dinosaur cartoon gets, seriously, that cartoon, or not cartoon, it's an actual guy dressed in a freaking purple dinosaur outfit. You guys know who I'm talking about, dancing around talking to kids. Gets more viewers than everybody put together at MSNBC. What's that tell you? So, you know, I don't care what you think of Fox. Sometimes I can't stand them. Other times I do. You know, there are some things that come out of everybody's mouth, for that matter, that I don't particularly care for. But when it comes to Fox, CNN, and MSNBC, if I was going to rely on one of those three to give me something that's fair and balanced, it's going to be Fox News. And then I'm going to go the extra mile and vet what they said if I feel I should tell you about it. Because, shit, I don't trust the news media at all anymore. Mainstream news media is corrupt. When our president said it was fake news, well, you know what? It sure as hell is. And I'm seeing more and more things happen on Fox, especially during the daytime news, that reminds me so much of watching Don Lemon or Rachel Maddow, where their whole program is hate and lies. Right now, as I speak, for the past 2 shows, Don Lemon is preaching that he wants CNN to stop broadcasting Trump's live press conference on the coronavirus every day, the task force, because in his mind, everything Trump says is a lie. Now, don't take my word for that. Look up last night's show. Look up last night's handoff to Como. They do that. Or Como to Don, I think it is. One's right before the other. But at the end of whichever show it is, they talk to each other before they go into the other ones. I think it's Como first, then Don. And they basically got in a little disagreement with Como going, hey, you can't stop that. I mean, we got people dying here. Oh, by the way, Don, he raises his hand and says, I'm doing this, my show now, from my basement because I have COVID-19. That's correct. And here Don Lemon is saying, well, I don't care. Trump's a liar. All he says is lies. He just spews hate. And this isn't fair. And he attacks all the journalists. And you know, and we can't have that. So why are we showing his press conference? We shouldn't be doing it. Got his little panties and a wad. They're rainbow color, by the way. And hey, guess what, Don Lemon? Nobody watches your shit anyhow, except people like me that have to, so I can report on the dumb shit you're saying, because you are the enemy of the people, just like President Trump told us they were. No doubt about it, hands down. They are drunk on, I don't know, sniffing Elmer's glue or some shit over there, because it's absolutely ridiculous. If you're ever kicked back and you just want a good laugh, that's all you got to do is tune them in and just sit there and listen. And you will be blown away. You know, especially those of you that haven't watched them in years because You know they were fake news? Since Trump got elected, they went from fake news to what can we say and possibly get away with and convince people the most outrageous shit you could possibly think of. All right. There are people, horrible left liberal Democrats on YouTube that, the ones that don't like me, for instance, that would do a better job over at CNN than these freaking clowns are. With that, I'm going to take a quick break. And when I come back, we will take your phone calls. The number's at the bottom of the screen. So pick up your phone, dial in, and we'll talk to you shortly. I'll be right back. Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code Doug for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
And I am back. Welcome back to the show. Let me just ask you this, for those of you that are calling in, try and keep your question or comment to 1 minute or less so that we can get as many callers as we can. We've had in the past, 10 people, 15 people call in, they're on hold, they're waiting. And, and we got one person going on for 5 minutes about stuff. And, it's just not fair to everybody else. So keep it as short as you possibly can so we can move it along and get everybody else in as well. So with that, I'll bring on my producer, Dustin Gold. How are you, sir?
Wonderful. All right. The call lines are lighting up. Matt, if you're still out there, I did email you that direct call-in line because you sent us some good information coming out of Australia last week. It's good to hear that you made it here safely. So just feel free to call in and I'll get you right on as soon as you do call. Let's go over to Betsy from Florida, who is an ER nurse on the front lines. Betsy, you're on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas Ducote.
Hello, Betsy.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Doug and Dustin. Hey, thanks for taking my call. I'm just calling because right now I work at a freestanding emergency room in Port St. Lucie. And we are right now very, it's very slow, but we keep saying we're going to ramp up. So therefore, my question to you is, do you believe what they're saying? I know my doctors that have friends and colleagues in New York say it's true. What is going on in New York is absolutely freaking true. But do you think we're actually going to peak? They're expecting 100,000 to hit us down in Florida within the next 2 weeks. So what do you think about that, Doug?
Well, let me ask you this real quick. Have you seen any cases in your hospital of COVID-19?
Yes. Not myself. I've sent a patient over. I've admitted one patient. She ended up being negative. We knew she would be. We've sent a few home at the time because the regulations are changing hourly. However, at the main hospital, which is our mothership, there we have right now there's about between 4 and 8 admitted right now. There should be about 8 positives and 2 have died.
Okay.
So
let me thank you for the call. Let me put it like this. Both of my brother-in-laws and my sister-in-law are doctors. Damn near everybody in my wife's family, her cousins, uncles, aunts, they're all doctors. All right. And most of them are all local here. And I talk to them and they talk to my wife and vice versa, obviously. And they're saying it's real. They're saying we're getting the cases. We're hoping we don't get this. They're saying we know what's happening in New Orleans is real because they went to school with some of those doctors down there and nurses as well. And they know them personally, and they know what they're going through, the hell they're going through. And literally, New Orleans cases are about to make New York's cases look like a cakewalk, sadly, because of Mardi Gras that we had, bringing 1.5 million people additionally into the city for Mardi Gras. We know out in Washington State and Oregon, parts of California, it's really, really bad. And then we know, which I read at the beginning of the show, the states that just have a few cases, which is more than the states that have a bunch of cases. So I don't know. I know that it's real. I know it exists. I know people are dying of it. And even people that I know have now died of this. Is it going to be what they're telling us in 2 weeks? 100,000 to 240,000 Americans are about to die? I don't know. When you've got the same doctor standing next to Trump today that said that, or agreeing with that, 2 days ago, puts out in a journal that it's no worse than the flu, really, when you think about it. So I'm going to keep doing what I do, and I hope you do as well. Those of anybody, whether you work in a hospital or whatever your job is, or even if you're not working, or maybe you're off, because of this. Keep washing your hands. Keep 6 foot away from other people. I took my son out to the park today, and we walked around the park. There were a whole bunch of people out there. It was a beautiful day, and everybody was staying a good 10 feet away from each other, which was wonderful. All right. There was no interaction here in Lake Charles like you're seeing all over the country where people are going, to hell with it. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. So that was positive. So that's the best case scenario. The best thing we can do is just heed the warning, and history will determine whether or not this was bullshit and it wasn't as bad as they claimed. Or, hell, this time in 2 weeks from now, I might be dead from the coronavirus, or half the audience listening could be as well, if this is true, what they're saying. So we keep plugging along, keep washing your hands, and pray that, whatever's going on stops real soon for our health. And not just physical, but also mentally.
All right, we're going to go to Matt, who is from Australia. He had sent us some information a couple of weeks ago when he was going through his immigration physical to come over here to the United States, and it was some really good info, and I know he finally got here, and he was able to call. And then we're going to go to Isabel in Sacramento. We're going to go to Jeff in Florida, Martin in Florida, Chris in Texas, and I'm not sure. I think this one is being screened right now. So let's go over to Matt from Australia, who's calling in on the guest line. Matt, you are on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas Ducote. Thank you for calling in.
Hello, Matt. Welcome back to America.
You there, Doug?
Yeah, I'm here. Did you bring a kangaroo? I wanted a kangaroo, brother. Did you bring one? You said you're going to bring one. Did you bring me a kangaroo?
No, I didn't. I didn't bring any kangaroos, but I was tempted to bring back some barbecue koala, but I thought they might have been in bad taste.
How you doing, man?
Not too bad, not too bad. I guess the information that I had kind of outdated now that the USA is full of cases, but I mean, I guess what I wanted to share was in Australia, the way our government is still and was at the time dealing with coronavirus, just from the testing stand, and then obviously, we are able to travel here without a visa. We just get on a plane. If you've got an ESTA, you could just come into the US freely. But I went into a clinic there for my U.S. immigration medical examination, and I was in there for 3 hours. And while I was in there with other patients, there was a kid with a broken arm, there was elderly people and all that, all in the same clinic, in the same waiting room. They were also bringing in people to be tested for coronavirus. This is in a medical clinic inside a busy shopping mall.
All sitting together.
And they're seating them out. Yep, they're seating them outside in all the public seating with all the public. No masks, no sanitizer, no gloves, nothing. No, they're just handing around the same clipboard to fill out medical information. Like that's the. So I guess my thing is when people criticize Trump, saying that he's not dealing with it good enough or fast enough, that's what you're getting from other governments, like in Australia. Like that's and that is that's the standard. Like that's not malpractice. That's what they've been told to do.
Yeah, I think the standard really is that they don't think it's as bad as some people think it is. That's the best way, I guess, I can look at it. But what came out today, as I'm sure you heard from our White House, it was like, wait a minute, are we dying next week or are we not going to die next week? Why would you come out and say this kind of shit? So I don't know.
Of course. Well, you've only got to look at Italy. And then you can see how bad it gets, especially if it gets into the elderly population.
Yeah, you're right.
And so what are we going to do? All of our grandparents die?
We're in trouble.
Oh, no good.
Yeah, not at all.
No good.
Well, hey, where are you at tonight?
I'm actually I finally made it back to the States. I'm in Pennsylvania. I don't know if anybody knows where Meadville is. They canceled my interview at the consulate in Sydney in Australia because they've closed all that down now because of coronavirus. So I just flew back here for 90 days. I have nothing better to do. So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I wish you could go tour something, but everything's closed. But welcome back, brother. Be safe and wash your hands.
Can I also just you guys speak a lot about immigration and as far as the border and whatever it is. Can I just say something quickly that happened to me while I was in Los Angeles? I'll be very quick.
Yeah.
Right. So I flew in. I've got all the correct documents. I've got all the correct paperwork. I'm coming here for a legitimate reason. All that. Nothing nefarious. I've been here many times before. And I was pulled from the ESTA visa line by Border Force and put into a room there to be asked further questions. Now, there was a gentleman from Mexico that was being interviewed before me, and the reason that they were questioning him to see if his reasons were valid to come into the state, and his was that he had apparently bought a motorcycle in Sacramento, and that he was going to ride that back to Mexico. And that's all that's fine, that story's perfectly fine, whatever. Mine was, I'm coming here to spend time with my fiance, this is what's happened in Australia, yada, yada, yada. I was about an inch away from being deported. In fact, I'd already been told by the border guard that I was being denied entry into the United States at this time. It was luckily for me another border guard stepped in and let me into the country. But that's what's going on as far as border in Los Angeles, Border Force.
Well, get a motorcycle next time and tell them you're going down to Mexico.
I guess that's a valid reason, is it?
Yeah.
All right,
brother. Thank you, man. Be safe.
All right, see you. Bye.
Thank you very much, Matt. All right, let's go over to Isabel in Sacramento. You are on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas Ducote.
Hello, Isabel.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
It's not Isabel, man. It's Ben. I can't seem to get my name right over here on that thing, but it's okay. I'd much rather keep my name private anyway. So,
Great.
Doug, I'm going to keep it short. Normally we chat a lot, but I'm going to keep it short. A couple things you talked about last night. Number one, the bill they passed and how they're basically pumping their own pockets. I was telling the show on my chat that we get $1,200 out of this, but Congress voted themselves Congress and Senate $25 million. That means they get $46,800 and some dollars that they just added to their salary, and we're getting screwed. So everybody's just taking money, put it in their pocket.
They said we can't call it a pay raise. It's for needs that they have.
Right. What about my need? I just got laid off today. My wife got laid off last week. And the second question, do you think that all this is okay to literally, since we have no toilet paper, can we just use the Constitution as toilet paper since pastors are getting arrested, but abortion clinics are open? That's all I got, Doug. God bless you, man. I'm praying for you and your family. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother. You too. God bless you. That's already happening, sadly, is that the Constitution is getting used to as toilet paper by the Democrats and the liberals of our society here in America. Hell, all you had to do is look at the 8 years of the Obama administration. And if you don't feel that way, then, well, you don't know shit about the Constitution. But you know how to wipe your butt with it. That's the only thing you're very good at.
All right, let's go over to Jeff from Florida. You're on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas Ducote.
Hello from Florida. And I don't know if your name is Jeff.
Yeah, it's Jeff from Florida, Doug.
Okay, good.
Did you see where Mike Lindell asked the people to pray and read your Bible? CNN immediately attacked him. I mean, they ridiculed him, threw him under the bus. You know, Doug, that's absolutely despicable. CNN is a pile of human feces, okay? These people are so despicable and evil, it's incredible. And by the way, Doug, I want to tell you, you were wrong about one thing. You do have more viewers than CNN, okay?
Thank you for pointing that out, brother.
Oh, yeah, one other thing. You know, I have a group of people that I do on Facebook, Doug. Yeah. And I tell everybody, if you want real news, I mention your name and a couple other people I listen to, but I always tell them, go to the Douglas Ducote Show. There you'll get honest, real news. I tell people to quit listening to CNN. I mean, they're just demonic, evil demons, you know?
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And speaking of Facebook, I got my Facebook account back today. They took it away from me yesterday. It was a blank screen. There was nothing there. They claimed that I wasn't me, and I had to do all these security things, and I did all the security things they asked me to do. And then they said, you're restricted from Facebook until we go through this investigation. And I guess they did their investigation because my Facebook's back. So that's good news. But thank you, brother. Be safe out there.
All right, let's go to Martin from Florida. You're on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas Ducote.
Hello, Martin.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Dustin. How y'all doing? Hey, Doug, I'll keep this short, but man, I just want to vent. Hey, I just watched Tucker Carlson here a little bit ago. They had a story on there stating where there was a store owner in Alexandria, Virginia, that was in his store, and the store was broken into by 3 juveniles. He opened fire on the juveniles, shooting one, wounding them. The police come in, treat him as the criminal, arrest him, take his weapon. He supposedly now has the coronavirus and is not receiving any type of medical aid in jail. The store owner of the store went to go pay, I guess, his $25,000 bond. They repealed it, would not let him pay it. I don't know what the hell's problem with that, other than that is the Northram thing, and we were all there in January for that. But listen, man, the numbers just don't add up here. I mean, 400,000 people died of the flu last year worldwide. And you would think that every hospital in the country is full. You couldn't get a bed. If you had a heart attack or you broke your leg, you might as well crawl up under a tree and die because you're never going to get in the hospital. I mean, this thing, okay, 100,000 people die over this virus? Yeah, I can see that. It's not because this virus is attacking your immune system. It's going to be all the panic and all the crap that comes with it that we've been seeing.
Oh yeah.
From the fake media. You got Cuomo who come out today and said, "Hey, sometimes you need a crisis to make a change." What change? What change did we need? Okay, and then you got Obama who stepped in today and said that this is our fault because Trump left the Paris Accord and this is due to global warming. And you've actually got, this is what's the scary part, man. This is what
I didn't hear that.
There's actually people out there that believe this stuff. This what gets me. There's actually people out there that's drinking this lukewarm water liberal piss Kool-Aid, and they're believing it.
I know.
I mean, we've got cops in our neighborhood right now. We've got police in our neighborhood right now that if there's more than 3 or 4 cars sitting in their driveway, they're actually going to the door to see how many people's in the house. It is absolutely absurd.
It's very hey, do me a favor. Send me an email at Douglas@DouglasDucote.com with the information about the store owner that you started off telling us about, so I can look into that.
Yeah, that was on Tucker Carlson tonight, just before you came on.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll check it out there. All right, brother. Hey, be safe.
And just one other thing. Just one other thing, if I could. Okay, I-95 at the Georgia-Florida line has been nothing but a parking lot for the past week because you've got FHP and you've got supposedly people in suits that we don't know who they are stopping cars that have New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, or New Jersey license plates.
Yep.
Now, you would think that they would either, pull these people. They're pulling to the side, give them a page with 14 things of a checklist to do, and ask them to please do a 14-day quarantine while they're in our great state of Florida. Why even stop anybody if that's all you're going to do?
Right.
I mean, this whole thing is just. Well, you know what? We got 2 interstates. We got 95 and 75. Haven't heard a thing about 75. I guess nobody travels 75, so we're not going to put a checkpoint up there. Okay, so it's all 95. The other day, traffic was almost as far back as Brunswick. Now, think how far that is.
Yeah, it's a good distance.
It's absurd. It's absurd, man. So, like I said, Doug, hey, man, I love your show. You guys are great. I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting tired of being lied to. And
I know, brother.
The government, when they ask you if they can take your freedoms for a while for the better of the good, they never give them back.
Yep.
That's frustrating.
Thank God we still have our guns. They haven't stripped us of our Second Amendment right, but they're trying.
Well, yeah, they're trying. And you know what? This is going to end up getting good people shot and killed. And I'm saying our boys in blue are going to be on the front lines, and they're going to be in the receiving end of that because they're doing what they're told to do. And you got good people that aren't doing anything wrong, and they're going to start fighting back. And hey, man, I was in law enforcement myself, just like you, and I'm seeing this thing getting pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna at the closing of the show tonight, I'll be telling a quick little story about somebody that recently was shot by law enforcement right here in Louisiana. But anyhow, thank you, brother, for the call. Be safe out there.
Yes.
All right. So, and I just look, you talk about the secondary stuff that's going to occur. We got a friend of the show. Doug was on panels with him. Rob Knorr, his brother, was scheduled for a brain surgery before the coronavirus stuff for a benign tumor that causes seizures. They canceled it. He ended up having a seizure the other day, going to the hospital. Another friend of mine goes into his doctor about every 6 months to have these skin cancer patches removed. They told him they're not allowed to now. It's considered non-essential. He's like, well, in 6 months, they develop into full-blown cancer. You're the guys who told me that years ago when I had to start having removed, and they said there's nothing we could do. My neighbor's a dentist here in the state of Tennessee. If he gets caught cleaning somebody's teeth, arrested, Class A misdemeanor, automatic 1 year in jail. I mean, he can't. It's insanity. All right, let's go to these last two calls. We'll go to Chris from Texas, and I think it's Mercedes. I know Dumpster Slob has been hanging in here trying to get in to the show again. He streams all the time. If you guys want to call into his show, it's 972-748-9989. That's 972-748-9989. He'll probably be streaming and drinking tonight. So if you guys want to call his show, you call his show, and you can have a chat with Dumpster Slob over at the Dumpster Slob and Conservatives channel.
He found out that in my community section, he got the first weekly award, which you probably don't even know about. I now do a weekly award for the toilet seat liquor of the week, and Trumpster Bob made the list for that. He's the first one.
Yeah, so if you guys want to call his show later, 972-748-9989. I know he does the show like 24 hours a day, so feel free to call whenever you want. Let's go over to Chris from Texas. You were on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas Ducote.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, Doug. Hey, how you doing, bro?
Doing good. How's Texas?
Hey, Texas is good, bro. We're over here trying to kick ass. Excuse for that. Excuse me for that. Okay? But, hey, Doug, I appreciate everything that you do. And I'm only a second-time caller, okay? But a long-time listener, okay?
Thank you, brother.
I've been listening to your show for a long, long, long time, okay?
Thank you.
I love your work. I love your commentary, and you're spot on, bro. But I want to say something. And the last time that I was on your show was last week, and I actually brought the prayer that ended your show. Do you remember?
I do remember that, brother.
Okay. And I know you have, and I know you have some other callers on your line, but can I please?
Please do it.
Give a prayer for everybody that's maybe holding on and has called, and say a prayer.
It's on you, brother. Go for it.
My Lord Jesus Christ, we thank you for this brother. And we thank you for all the sacrifices that he's done for this country. But we ask you at this moment to please extend your hand and show us what we need to do, what we need to say, and show us the light at the end of the tunnel. This brother has gone beyond the call of duty. And I ask you to please put your hand and your blessings upon this radio station, Douglas Ducote, and bless him and his radio station and everybody that may be here in this station. And let us not be scared, but let us be blessed upon measure, because you, my God, you are the one that controls everything that goes on today and tomorrow and forever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen, brother. Well said. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Let's go. I believe it's Mercedes. You wanted to talk about H1N1. You are on the Douglas Ducote Show with Douglas Ducote.
Good evening,
Hello.
Saffron. I just wanted to bring up the fact that nobody, of course, except most conservatives, are talking about the fact that Chinese biochemists have been arrested trying to smuggle live samples of SARS, H1N1, and H1N2 from Detroit and Boston since 2018.
Yes,
Nobody's bringing this up.
Yeah, I did I mentioned that probably about 2 months ago, but it was about the one that they caught, and it was actually an American at a California university that had lied about what he was doing with China in the biofield with viruses. And he was arrested by the FBI, and that's the last we heard about him. But yes, there are stories.
I found very, very layered. It took me a lot of digging, but I found a Chinese biochemist with SARS in 2018 from Detroit, another one again from Detroit in 2019, and the one from Baltimore. And is it Baltimore Memorial? Yes, I'm sorry, Boston. And around the December of 2019.
Right.
And I had to dig hard for these. It's like nobody is bringing up the fact that it's not just them bribing our scientists, but they are actually stealing live virus DNA from our labs and trying to smuggle them out. And if it's going one way, you know it's coming the other.
Hey, can you email us anything that you have?
I sure can. I actually just got the email from his email address from his lovely wife. Thank you again, Marilyn. To email him about the situation I just went through with the VA today. So he has that email sitting in his inbox. But I will very happily send you the links that I found for these items.
Great. Thank you. We appreciate that. Hey, thank you for your service, too. I haven't said that enough. You're appreciated.
All right, and let's go to our last call. I don't know I believe it's Candace from Maine wants to talk about Donald Trump and drain the swamp. Candace, you are on the line with Douglas Ducote on the Douglas Ducote Show.
Well, good afternoon, Douglas. Hello. I'm Alfred and Dixie from Harmony, Maine, and President Trump has a plan, and he's draining the swamp that we've been waiting to be drained. That's why he lugged the ship. He brought the ship up into New York to set in the harbor so that he can pick up those filthy rats that are scurrying around on the street with this virus. He's rounding them all up with the National Guard. This is all a big military outfit thing. We got to sit tight and enjoy the show. Shit is about ready to hit the fan, from what I gather. Trust the plan. Over on, and we know, Serial Brain 2, I don't know if you listened to him or not, and the 22X report, they're where I can get my information from, because I don't go on Google. They're corrupt also, as far as I'm concerned, along with Facebook. And I listen to you guys for background noise. I appreciate your show each and every time I listen to you, Doug. So God bless you, and thank you.
Thank you, brother. Be safe out there. Wash your hands. All righty, folks. I want to share with you real quick in closing some devastating information that I received today from a veteran friend of mine out of the Baton Rouge area, letting me know about a mutual friend of ours that is a Navy reservist, female. She's 8 months pregnant, and we don't know all the details yet. In fact, it hasn't even hit the news. but what she shared with me was that I guess her and her husband got into some type of an argument. Law enforcement was called, and one of the police officers that responded fired his weapon and shot her. She is recovering, and that's all I know at the moment about it. Pregnant female, Naval Reserve, shot in her front yard. So, was this an accident? Did she do something to cause them to fear and danger? No clue yet. But it's something that I will be reporting on as we go to find out exactly what took place there and bring that to the surface, whether it's good or bad, because things like that are going to happen when we're in a situation like this, where, in a lot of homes, it's just what it is. If husband and wife are used to one of them not being there 90% of the day because they're working, or they're both working, and that's been that way for years, and now they're stuck in the house together, not working, well, a lot of couples find out the hard way that they're not compatible with one another because, they've never experienced anything like that before. Hell, if it was mandatory that before you could get married to somebody, you had to hang out in the house with them for 2 or 3 months and not go anywhere or do anything, probably have a lot less people getting married. That's my assumption. So, it's sad and it's scary. And, if you are a woman that's in a situation where it's not good at home for whatever reason, reach out to law enforcement to help you. And they will, because you don't have to be quarantined with the person that's abusing you. That is not good. And they will help you and get you out of that situation. Trust me. Anyhow, you had many places you could have gone tonight, and you chose to come here to watch this show. I appreciate it. We're doing a lot of good things, digging deep to try and find you the truth about what's happening out there. And, we will continue to do that. We will continue to do the best that we can to support and defend the United States, our Constitution, against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and rise up our patriot brothers and sisters with factual information that you need moving forward to November 2020 and beyond, so that we will continue to be the best that there is in America. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, first responders, our doctors and nurses, EMTs on the front line fighting this virus, all their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, our president, and our country. Folks, we'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 8 p.m. Central Time, for another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. And I hope you will join us and share with your friends and family about our show. And we will continue to do everything in our power to bring you the truth about what is happening all across America and our country. Thank you. God bless you. Wash your hands and have a wonderful night.
I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.